right? Well, I smartly thought I would put a 2x4 block behind the flip on, use that as a T, and I just smashed my foot into the 2x4. I was like 8 years old, to be fair, so like wasn't the most intelligent human at 8 years old, but I did survive to 31 now, so we did get there in the end.
And we have finally got into our first map. Frags already distributed. Summer down to 6 HP. And TYLOO on the CT side coming under heavy duress early on. This is also a player pushing up the banana side, so they could very well wrap around towards the B side. That's what they're going to be going for here now. And somebody tries to connect the headshots. Only one will be going in his favor. ViCi will stampede across to the B side. And this is looking great for the T start.
Especially with Almond still here to cut off these rotations, and they have no idea. Free headshot there on the slowly, and Summer obviously with very little HP left here out in middle will get quickly finished off by Almond as well. A nice hat trick there for him, and a nice pistol strap from ViCi. Just a crushing blow early on that A site. Even though there was a bit of a stack on that side of the map, TYLOO's still losing their duels. Only somebody getting the frag, and so ViCi go up 1-0. And I mean, both of these teams are pretty fast-paced and explosive and kind of rely on flexing their skill to get rounds. So I imagine we will see a lot of fast-paced Counter-Strike throughout this series.
I am totally on board for that. Do love me some fast, aggressive hits on both sides, and could be entertaining if nothing else. Yeah, of course, in CS. Okay. In a video game, Twitch.
Yes, yeah, got it. Just wanted to make sure, wanted to clarify.
That's a lot of CZs.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I think this is the one map where dropping utility will have almost maximum impact. If you can just drop all your smokes to your 2B players, you don't have to rotate people over to keep re-smoking top banana, you know what I mean? You can just leave them there, so you don't have to worry about, you know, because that would happen a lot, right? You would kind of dump your utility, you would rotate, someone else would come over to A, kind of cover that spot. Now you don't really have to do that. You can just kind of drop smokes.
No, that is a very good point, and I think that's one of the aspects that maybe we'll see more and more as time goes on. Jam Young up close, comes out second best against Dan King. A lot of damage done to TYLOO though. Both Slowly and Summer are feeling the effects, and the B side is starting to get taken over. Summer has fallen down to Advent's Galil, and with his death, the B side will surely follow. Slowly has moved his way in with the Deagle, however, but he's stuck behind his smoke.
Yeah, smart little maneuver there by Summer. I like the idea, just losing out the fight to the Galil. And so ViCi Gaming will clamp down on this B-bomb site. They will have the win. Dan King and Attacker will just save the upgraded pistols and armor. Trying to roll the dice again next round with these weapons. Obviously, everyone else will have to full save. So at least give yourself some hope at causing a disturbance with these weapons being saved. Dan King even able to go pick up the MAC-10 from the fallen player over in the A apartments. So that'll give them even another little tricky weapon to try to put into play. But yeah, I mean, if you think about the history of Inferno, there was a time where you could actually throw smokes from A arches into top banana when there wasn't a skybox there blocking that. And a lot of teams really relying upon that. And when that skybox got put into place, it forced you to rotate players to keep utility in play at B. And yeah, you just simply don't have to do that anymore, which means less movement is required. Means you can kind of hold position a little bit better if need be. And it just gives CTs that option to still kind of stuff B with utility without necessarily having to move their players around. And so you can kind of avoid there necessarily being like gaps in your defense for those like little timings where you're having to rotate players through. So that is something that could help out the CT side on this map.
Certainly could. Hasn't so far for TYLOO. Haven't really had that much utility because they've been on the back foot this entire time after losing the pistol. Summer getting some aggression down will be dealt. Some Molotovs towards his position, forces him back, but not that much. He can still keep this close angle and maybe rattle off a few headshots with this Deagle. They line up. There's 2 frags for Summer. Looking for more and finds a third as well. Single-handedly destroys this push, and he's able to actually back out there and survive as well. And it goes from bad to worse. TYLOO only have Kaze to contend with in a 1-on-5. And surely he's going to go down in just a few moments' time as he looks to try and force his way onto the side. Maybe he can do a bit of damage. He's being tagged from multiple sides. Unbelievable. TYLOO win the round and don't lose a single player.
And indeed, they get the 2 Galils for free. They get an AK picked up as well as just Summer. It might be approaching winter when it comes to the calendar year, but it's all Summer today on that round. Really well done. Also, the MAC-10 was able to pick up a kill at middle. So that is a little bit of extra money going the way of TYLOO. They keep those MAC-10s in play. They, again, get the free AK and 2 free Galils. ViCi having to go for a 4 spy here to try to stay in contention. If they lose this, their economy will be broken. And meanwhile, again, the TYLOO economy is going to be swarming because they didn't have to spend any money on weapons. It's just utility they had to replenish.
Oh, exactly. It is such a dramatic boost in finances, in firepower, and confidence, everything. And just as we were saying that ViCi needed to get started in this best of 5 hot, that is going to dampen things down significantly, especially if they were to lose this round. They do have some stuff available, but Advent actually only on a Glock, as slowly is going to get flashed in. Double spray, not quite in. Zhao King punishes him for that with the AK, tries to deal with a second player and catches somebody as he transfers back onto the site. An excellent passage of play, and ViCi now, well, they'll be post-plant.
Will be post-plant. There are a couple of softened targets out there, however. There are no nades to really kind of penalize those softened players. And again, they have great positioning. They have man advantage. It's going to be a tough retake, especially because Summer was still kind of watching out for a flank through middle. So he's now only just getting into CT spawn to set up this retake. They do have a couple of smokes and flashes to put into play, so there could be a chance to break back into this, but they need to work quickly. They only have the 1 kid on attacker, and it's already halfway ticked.
Yeah,
I mean, they got to go.
Though. Yeah.
I mean, if they're going to go, they need to go. I guess they're just good for exits, though.
Making this as costly as possible, but they have lost another player. Dan King watching towards the pool. Knows a player is there. All these 3 players are low, weak, and vulnerable. With a bomb will not detonate either Jam or Kaze. But considering their economy was a bit grim going into the round, it has had an impact for ViCi.
Yeah, it is. I guess it just felt like they couldn't go for it, already being a man down, and with Summer being so out of position, it was really late to rotate to CT spawn to try to set up that retake. And I mean, I think if they had some more incendiaries and HE grenades, they may have considered going for it, but with only flashes really as utility, they just didn't really have a way to dislodge ViCi in those post-plant positions. However, they do keep the economy of ViCi low, right? You know, they got a couple of exit frags, they forced some rebuying. So there is still some chances here for TYLOO to kind of close the gap quickly if they can get this round.
Definitely good counter utility tossed in slowly. Same position we saw Summer rattle off 3 headshots with a deagle, but the HEs will force him away. Flashbang, good. That flick is up to the task as well. That was lightning. And now slowly is joined by Attacker, and the 2 of them are battling this one down. A HE from the heavens as Kaze drops down to 4 HP, and it has been entirely repelled. ViCi have to get the hell out of Banana. This is now under CT control.
Absolutely. And Vince, I'm going to tell you this now. I expect to see a lot of that throughout this game. Again, both these teams are known for their aggression. They're known for their fast-paced, skill-based play style. And, you know, banana control on this map really lends itself to those types of early round duels. And so I expect to see a lot of that. The only way that we'll see it change is if ViCi decide to kind of redirect their attack and try to put a little bit more focus on getting that top mid control early in these rounds. If they continue to go for these banana plays early, you're going to see a lot of these fights kind of breaking out in sandbags. TYLOO will not shy away from trying to defend this area of the map. And so a lot of rounds will get decided by that duel.
We just had a couple of timeouts called there, one from TYLOO and one additionally from the side of ViCi. Our economy is in pretty grim shape, but the fact that Zhao King's down at 1600, I wonder if they feel like maybe going in for a couple of pistols and upgrading things up here. Not too sure as to what their prospects are going forward, though, past this round.
Yeah, I think a save, you know, it's just ultimately what has to happen. There is no option. I mean, maybe you get a couple of Tech-9s try to do something crazy, but that's really setting yourself back. And that's probably something you don't want to do when you already have a little bit of a lead. As I say that, they drop Jamyoung and AK. It is being purchased by Advent, and it's being passed over, and they do get the Tech-9s. And so, yeah, they are fully sending this round. And so they're trying to stay toe-to-toe here with TYLOO. I mean, I guess with their economy the way that it was, you might as well try to send it one last time and then take the full save next round. And then at that point, the max loss bonus will catch up if you are unable to convert here.
Makes perfect sense to put that weapon in the hands of Jamyoung the way he's been playing thus far, but it's not even like the risk is massively worth it, because there is still plenty of money on the side of TYLOO. You've got 9.3k on Attacker, Dan King's over 3,000, so is Summer. They are flashing out Dan King, however, from the arches, but he still will nail the shot onto Zhao King with a parting gift. Summer up close, gets smacked down by the Tech-9, but the rest of the T's are falling down around him. And yes, you get a kill, but that's not going to be worthwhile if TYLOO hold the line with 4 players alive. This will be a massive W, considering this was a force. They do lose that second player, but that will not be good enough to really trouble TYLOO.
Yeah, really smart play there from Dan King, getting that fadeaway shot on his way, on his rotation to library, able to just kind of stay in that area as well, stay alive, constantly keep threatening that Moto wrap, and winds up with another frag when it's all said and done with the CZ now at 7-1. So having a good game here. Again, a team TYLOO has so many players who can pop off. That is one of their big advantages, is that they just have a more equal distribution of who can put up the big ratings. As it is all square now, and TYLOO very likely to take the lead here as there's just Glocks available for ViCi.
I don't comment on it too much, but I do love that knife glove combo that Dan King has.
Oh, God.
It's sexy. I'm not gonna lie, dude.
Don't worry, Vince. Another 500 case openings. I'm sure that you might be able to get to the same combo.
Absolutely not. That's like worth a kidney what he has. It's outrageously expensive.
To be fair, you've probably spent 2 kidneys worth of money on case openings throughout your career in CSGO. So
You're not wrong. You know, I'm not gonna lie. You're not wrong.
You don't even want to look, do you? Because there is a way to actually look and see, and I bet that there's no chance you'll ever want to go take a glimpse.
Nope. Absolutely not. I'd much
It's
rather,
probably for the best.
That's where ignorance is bliss. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe on your deathbed, like you're dying, what you'd be like, let me check my Steam. Aw, bloody hell.
Why have I done that? I could have spent it on chronotherapy or something instead.
Yeah, exactly, dude. You might be halfway to living forever if you would have just not opened all those darn cases.
Feels bad. There's probably a lot of people that can relate to that in chat right now, I'd imagine, but this is going to be an absolute massacre of pretty epic proportions. Be surprised if a single player drops. It won't be, but it was full Glocks at the end of the day, thus we expected that to happen.
Mm-hmm. That's all we got to banter a little bit there, you know? Risk-free. No CS was really unanalyzed there. As we now have the AK buyout from ViCi, so their chance to finally respond after a couple of 4 spies and a full save. They will now have an opportunity to try to keep this thing as close as possible. No op is going to be in play for Kaze, and they do have a couple of players a little bit limited on their utility, but otherwise sitting pretty. Again, we might be seeing an early contest for Banana, utility being exchanged, but the T's aren't pressing the issue. They're kind of playing backboard towards T-ramp, and that's great news for TYLOO. It feels like they've kind of set that tone to just kind of have that Banana control, which is going to really pigeonhole ViCi Gaming's attack.
Oh yeah, so much. It's such a key area of the map, as you touched on before. Having banana control offers you so many more options for the T's. It really forces the CTs on the back foot. So the fact that they have pushed down this aggressive, knowing that ViCi have rifles, is such a declaration of intent here from the CTs.
They're going to leave this crossfire at logs and corner, and then they can kind of fade somebody back to be that third A player. I mean, this is so much map control for TYLOO. The only thing that could go wrong is if ViCi expose a weakened A site like right now, or if they double back. Or this could happen. You're TYLOO and you just overextend a little bit too much, and now you're getting absolutely wrecked. But will they expect the logs player? Yeah, they do. I mean, that was kind of silly from TYLOO.
Yeah, why?
Asian CS.
Dan King at least is keeping this round in the realms of possibility for TYLOO. It's maybe not a done deal just yet, but they're over-rotating. They're sending Summer away from A. He now realizes that so maybe not the greatest decision and goes back in on the A side. Already picking off one player. Can he single-handedly stop the defuse? Or stop the plant, I should say. No, it will be going down. And he also loses his life from Aumann. So that one pivot foundational player that maybe TYLOO could have got Dan King into has now fallen down by the wayside. But Dan King, so many players would have already given up this round and gone for the save. He at least goes in to try and see if he can find a pixel to exploit, but decides better of it, and he'll be backing away. But we were singing the praises there of TYLOO. We're like, this is a really good setup. And then they just walk down mid and just give their lives away for free. That was such a strange moment.
I've come to just realize watching TYLOO over the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years that you just don't question it. It'll just give you too much mental strain. You can wind up like just your whole life ruined trying to inject logic into TYLOO's play style. But yeah, it's one of those situations where ideally you would have faded one of those players back, maybe kept that crossfire at logs and corner if you really wanted to just firmly anchor in that B side, and then you would have faded a third player back to A and just played it like that. Or the other big thing is that you just realize, hey, I've denied map control for so long, I've killed so much clock, I can just fade us all back, maybe leave one player at the half wall as like an early alert system, You force the T's to waste utility just to get banana control back. You put them down to like the last 30 seconds or so. And then you have like one guy that's just kind of watching to see if they're going to reaggress banana. Again, can call for that rotation if need be. And you have like a 4-player A stack in place that you can safely accomplish because you've dominated banana and you've left a player behind to anchor it. So there was so many better decisions that TYLOO could have made. And they chose virtually the worst one.
Supposed to see a bit of silver lining. Never mind that. We'll get back to that in a moment because Zoking's mixing up the pace, already pushing through on quad side. 1-4 trade. Summer spotted, pushing into the apps. Has got himself another frag and done a lot of damage to Kaze as well. But ViCi still will have control over the site and can go in for the post plant.
Yeah, I thought he was going to get a double there. I mean, he definitely got Kaze down very low. That HE grenade will finish the job. So still somebody's impact alongside Summer will be felt as they now have a 3-on-2 retake opportunity here.
Smoke onto the balcony. Oh, bits off more than he can chew. He assumed he got that frag and had to move away. So they know one player's up on that balcony. The 2 players funneled in on the arch side now can start to force their way in. Alman has done so much damage. Frag now comes through onto somebody. Advent is low. Alman also getting tagged down low. Picks up the AWP and his teammate is holding the line on the site. Another incredibly close round, but it does go the way of ViCi.
Yeah, kind of mind-blowing. TYLOO had a 3-on-2 retake there. Alman blew it, and they still didn't win the round. That is really depressing. Alman able to recover, get down into pit, pick up an op, and destroy that moto rotation. Also, good hold on the site to stop that lane rotation coming out of TYLOO as well. So ViCi doing some good work here. They've kind of weathered the storm. They are now ahead 5-4. They have the economy vulnerable of TYLOO, but so is theirs. This could be kind of a 2-for-1 deal type round, depending on who comes out on top. We could be seeing ViCi extend to 7-4, or we could see TYLOO grabbing the lead right back, as neither team will be able to buy next round with the loss here.
The strange thing is as well, even though ViCi in their own right have done a good job, they've got the lead, it does feel to me it was more of a case of TYLOO shooting themselves in the foot that led to this position, you know?
Oh, for sure. It all comes down to that banana push that just seems so unnecessary. Now Kaze able to get the opening mid pick. And I mean, to be fair, ViCi, when they have attacked middle, these last couple of rounds, they have been very successful. They are kind of winning out that battle. Maybe banana is owned by TYLOO, but top middle very much being crushed by ViCi. And TYLOO are choosing to face it and not play passive. And so that makes it even better for ViCi.
Keeping somebody on the B side by himself. Rest of the players retreating over on the A side, but it seems that ViCi have their eyes dialed in towards the B side of the map now. Somebody has a smoke remaining and a flashlight, gap in that smoke tossed in. Could get this first pick, does get the first pick, and it is also for clean. Now they send over slowly with the AWP. This round is going to get very sweaty for ViCi because another smoke has been put into position. Pop flash up and over, nails the landing. Advent completely blinded, gets finished off. And now the bomb is starting to move in, but there's a third player of the CTs moving towards the CT side. And this has gone from bad to pretty much over. And indeed, it will be finalized. That looked like it would be going ViCi's way pretty convincingly, but TYLOO survived with 4.
Yeah, it just comes down to being able to get that first kill out top banana, be able to get that rotation from slowly. I think the other big problem there is the first player out to try to recapture B site went before the CT spawn smoke had bloomed. And so TYLOO had a very effective crossfire on that first player in and was able to get that kill as well. So just a little bit of a lack of attention to detail there from ViCi to get CT spawn blocked off and isolate that site player. Causes them to lose. Now it's tied up, and they're on the low end of the money spectrum, so it will just be upgraded pistols and a MAC-10 on Jam Young. And that's something else we got to talk about, Vince. Jam Young has been clearly the star of ViCi time and time again. He had over 50 kills yesterday in the 2 over NKT. He comes into Inferno. He's 1-8.
Yeah, and he's also been trusted with a couple of their hero AKs as well, right?
Yes.
So
exactly.
That's a really good point. He is struggling. He is having a rough game so far.
That cannot happen in this series if ViCi hopes to try to pull off the upset. Nice opening shot there from Dan King. Able to fade back. Almost grabs himself a second. Is going to be eventually faded back, but slowly there to catch from the coffins.
This round can't really fault Jam Young. He was the first player in, got winged by the AWP, but now they push before the smoke plumes. And Alman is sent reeling as a result. Kaze has control over the bomb, but if he does try and tickle that being alone, he's expected to get pushed and slowly denies him. And he dies on the coffins for a fast burial. It does put TYLOO into the advantage, but there is no buy coming up for ViCi again.
Yeah, their money is just in such pitiful shape. Double op now in play for TYLOO. Somebody going to be taking the secondary. Obviously, a map where double op can be effective. A little bit of an investment, sure. So I do think one of those ops was picked up for free a while back, so money wasn't spent necessarily.
Yeah, that's right. That was in round 10. They picked that one up.
Four blocks, Vince.
Exactly.
You hate to see it.
Not even a flash, not a P250, nothing really that you can build off. They're slowing it down, maybe anticipating that TYLOO get a bit too antsy and aggressive again and walk into their crosshairs, but ViCi, they're going to be waiting a long time to get to that point.
Could be the classic Karn timeout.
Yeah. Absolutely. Why use a tactical timeout when you can just chill with Glocks and just talk it over now instead?
Yep. Also, chances for everyone to kind of settle down, right? You know you're not going to win this round. It's fine. Everyone just take a chill pill. Just calm down. Get your minds right. Let's just kind of send it. And, yeah, just get everyone back focused. As Summer gonna spot this. Hangs around and, well, not a surprising result.
It just goes to show how utterly trash Glocks are against armor that he took so many bullets and is still at 56 HP. He just doesn't care.
That doesn't happen in real life, promise you that.
Yeah, definitely don't try this at home, kids.
That 9mm will get you.
So the throwaway round has come and gone. 7-5 to score, but ViCi now will have another buy. Does it allow them an AWP? No, they're actually down to 4 Galil's dust. Jeez. Oh, that's rough.
I didn't realize it was that bad. But yeah, it does paint a very bleak picture that even after a couple of saves, they still cannot get a real, true, full purchase. They had to take that L to make sure they could get some utility and make sure they could also keep head armor, which is, obviously a requirement against CT weaponry. As we are going to see them try to go for banana. There was no early contest from TYLOO. They're playing a bit more passive. They're just kind of trusting this double op setup to kind of be that early warning system. The op shot misses and somebody gets pushed off.
Yeah, this is isolating and funneling his teammate into an awful position. There's mollies, flashes, and a bunch of crosshairs aimed in his location. So he goes down. Gotta be careful. Almond's on top of the coffins. Can't deny the bomb plant, but additionally loses his life. And a very straightforward, simplistic hit is yielding so much fruit in return. It's kill after kill, and ViCi have not lost a single player.
No, and Alma's actually on for the ace here, though I don't know that he'll get it, as Summer is not looking to cough it up. And that's a bit surprising. If you're going to play a two-player B setup, I really don't like the idea of just leaving one on the site and then one playing towards CT spawn. 9 times out of 10, that's going to get smoked off. You're going to get flashed off. You're going to have to make that rotation through construction to coffins, and that's going to take you a few seconds to do. And those few seconds leaves that B player by himself. That's why I much prefer, if you're going to do that, to either keep that player hidden in an area like dark or let that player just play coffins. That way, if worse comes to worse, maybe you have to concede the site, sure, but at least you're kind of guaranteeing a 5-on-5 retake. And you're going to have utility superiority because the T's have had to spin it just to get into the site. Not only that, but ViCi's economy was low to begin with. So, yeah, again, I just kind of question the decision-making there on that CT placement on site.
Alman did secure his ace as well, incidentally, got the last player, so phenomenal round for him. But I agree, I think if you have 2 players on there, you need the second player at least with an incendiary or something to slow down the push.
Yeah.
Alman tagged down to 52 though early on, and this time TYLOO looked like they're a bit more interested in fighting for banana control, but a well-placed Molotov, it'll push somebody into the exact same position as last round.
Yeah, it was a 3-man B defense to start. Good utility layering as well to try to slow ViCi down a bit. Somebody now and can continue to put that utility down. Almond's taking a lot of heat, but they're going to come in here. Both players on the site.
They've got the verticality locked down as well. 2 completely separate angles to contend with. Kaze does put down somebody, now slowly alive. Lots of damage to Almond, down to 16. Should be finished off momentarily, but slowly just needs to stay alive. He knows this round will be secured pretty convincingly should he keep the new boxes, and now the cavalry charges and stampedes on the site. And Jamyung, yeah, you might have A control there, Chief, but you don't have the bomb, so yeah, good luck.
Let's get the kill on the Summer, but now he's been detected. And with it being a 3-on-1 with this many seconds left and bomb under the CT possession, all Jamyung can hope to do is save this in 4. That will be an 8th round for TYLOO. Well done there. I was a little bit weirded out by the choice to extinguish the Molotov in dark by the player playing U-Box. Yeah, I think maybe too, like trying to indicate that there was a player still there. Try to throw a little bit of doubt in the T so they're trying to clear sight. So I kind of liked it from that perspective. And it did work out in the end, obviously. They defend. They survive with 3 players. They keep the double op in play for the next round. And they extend their lead. And they have a chance now to go up 9-6. So not a bad half, all things considered, if you're TYLOO. And again, you know, I know I sound kind of pessimistic saying that. This easily could have been an 11-4 type half if TYLOO just play a couple of rounds a bit smarter.
No, they were in cruise control when they made that banana blunder, shall we say. Yep. So I definitely agree with you. I think this is the kind of half where they take 9-6. Yeah, they'll be relatively happy, but they'll be thinking, what if? What if we had have been a little bit more clinical on this? However, what we can say is this has been a really entertaining half of Counter-Strike so far. Like, it's been really aggressive. We've had lots of different facets on both teams, some really cool moments. So I'm enjoying myself. But yeah, I agree. I think this could have been a very, very one-sided map overall, and it's anyone's game still.
Oh, look at this. TYLOO trying to finish the half in style with this mid-aggression utility being layered in on the T-ramp, but Alman punishing that. And now it forces the CTs to fade back, and then again it just comes back. Why? But why?
Yeah, it feels a bit weird. If you're going to go for that, I feel like a lot of teams fully commit to it. You know, you rush down middle with 2 or 3 players, you're getting down second mid. Just setting him by himself, like, kind of felt like a sacrificial lamb almost, which wasn't required.
It just seems unnecessary. You know, like that's twice now that they've gone for an overly aggressive play with really no need to do so, and it could lose them the round. Missed shot there from somebody, forced to fade back. Still trying to hold this angle. Still trying to see if he can get something on his way out the door as they all are gathering up here to attack. And that's a nice read for somebody on the half wall boost, but he gets double swung. And so the T's will remain with the man count in their advantage. And there's also a creeping of Jamyung out the apartments that maybe Dan King's not going to be ready for.
Should be swooped in right now. Jamyung takes him out from behind. Last round of the half. Summer slowly will be going in. Smoked off on the approach though. Molly up and over. Will be trying to deny this bomb plant, but it's too little too late. And it would have been too shallow anyway. Another smoke replenished, and they have an extra one for Jamyung as well, so they can just lock this down for so long. And at this stage, TYLOO probably realized that they're going to have to push in, maybe go for some kind of a boost, some kind of a gimmicky play, because eventually if they just keep sitting behind these smokes, the round is going to just come to a conclusion based off time. Now they go in, flashbang precedes the spray, and it looks as though ViCi, they will draw this back to just 1 round come the second half. There's nothing that Summer can really do about this. It is the last round here, Chief, of the half. You're going to have to go in for this one, but he's leaving it too little too late. He's playing for kill to death.
Say that AK, dude, for sure. Yeah, playing for KD, bro. So it is going to be 8-7.
Anyway.
Oh, God. Yeah, so it is going to be 8-7 in favor of TYLOO. Very easily could have been at least 10-5 in favor of TYLOO, but just choosing to get a little bit overly aggressive, and ViCi more than capable of punishing those types of attempts. Very interesting game of Counter-Strike so far. Very entertaining, as you already said, as we are going to go down to the closest margin possible. But we will take a break before we conclude this map in the second half, so stay tuned.
8-7 the first half ended, but it could have been a landslide victory to TYLOO, weren't it, for a couple of mistakes and a couple of very big plays as well from the side of ViCi. And now the roles reversed us. We're going to have ourselves TYLOO on the T side and ViCi trying to lock it down on the defense. And I'm hoping for ViCi's sake and for Jamyoung's sake that he's going to be able to step things up. He's an incredibly solid player, but he's not had a great game so far.
Yeah, it's a pretty fair assessment of the situation. He was trying to get a little bit aggressive in apartments to kick off this round, not spotting anything. And now just kind of playing boiler. Gets a nice little pot flash. Does spot a couple players middle. Smartly doesn't commit to the fight. Backs off. Gets the intel and the chip damage and kind of fades back. They had a 3-man B setup, so they did not want to risk losing a player early at A and getting caught with a gap in their defense. As now they will settle back into a more traditional setup on A, as the attack is certainly coming in now with those smokes.
Yeah, they're looking to try and pounce onto the site. Advent gets caught. Flashbang out will allow him to go back into the site and find somebody just perched on the boxes. But it's all a ruse because they're trying to swarm and envelop the CT spawn. 2-for-2 trade overall. And ViCi, interestingly, decide to rotate via middle instantly to try and catch TYLOO off guard. But Summer is here. He's waiting, and he knows at least one player's pushing in.
And he's able to catch the first one to kind of guard that bomb plant. Now they have man advantage here on this retake.
Advent takes down Attacker though, and now turns his attention towards the oranges. They know that Summer is here, changed his position slightly, and it's USP in the hands of Jamyoung to try and get this one back under the realms of possibility. Summer's down to 39, tagged again to 8, should be finished off, is finished off, and in enough time to go in for the defuse. So, ViCi, they tie us back up.
Yeah, really nice round there from Jamyoung. A double kill, a defuse, a clutch, and a tie now for his team against TYLOO, as we're all square at 8 apiece. A nice thought from TYLOO to get into B, and even briefly had a 3-on-2 man advantage in the post plant. But Jamyoung and company able to sort it out here and get the victory. You could see that Summer was trying to delay as long as he possibly could. Took too much damage to take straight up fights, and so was just trying to force Jamyoung to just be quiet for too long to get the defuse in time, but not going to happen. And we see a tactical timeout right away from ViCi. A little bit surprised to see this early. They only have 2 left. We are going to see the force up here from TYLOO. They did get that bomb plant, so they will be able to get some Galils in play as well as an AK on Attacker. Maybe that's why ViCi wanted the extra time to discuss things, knowing that they might be up against something like this, and maybe wanted to make sure that they had their own purchases in order, as well as their own game plan in place on how they want to set up their defense.
Knowing how much of a pivot point this could very well be in the grand scheme of the best of 5 finals. I want to make sure they're all on the same page, and now we are good to go. TYLOO, not really a surprise to see them fully invest post-plant. Will be 4 rifles with a deagle. We've already seen in the hands of Summer just what the deagle can do over on that CT side. But ViCi early on smoking off the banana with mollies behind it. And so TYLOO slowing it down, not getting too aggressive, sitting back and waiting to see if ViCi push into them.
Yeah, pretty passive start here to the round. No one really going for that early banana control. TYLOO content just to kind of sit back and watch for any type of CT aggression towards apartments. Now they're slowly starting to kind of come back into a bit of a default T setup. Maybe looking to get some ATS control with somebody, as he is kind of playing over towards that stairwell. Now you're starting to see some mana control be taken by TYLOO a little bit late in the round. Though as I say that, they don't really commit to it. So just kind of sitting very passively at back middle. Now looking to maybe go up A side, which is indeed vulnerable. ViCi are playing a 3-man B defense and are not really doing much proactive to gain intel. They do have Jamyoung though in a nice little boosted position, but he has been spotted.
And forced off that angle now. 35 seconds left. They have smokes to try and lock this one down. Zo King with a FAMAS good for 1. It may be a one-and-done position. A lot of damage was inflicted across, but more importantly, it stalled and stymied the push. 23 seconds, but now Kazi's lost his life. And they would have heard that A1S ripping out some bullets beforehand. They know Jamyoung is here, has to switch to his sidearm, and he just gets rushed down. With 10 seconds to go, this bomb will be finalized as the digits are punched in. And our Advent and Alman stuck behind mollies, stuck behind smokes. They're now going to start to fade away, and they can look to try and push back in. But as you say, no kit and a HE and a flash between them, and they're also segregated from one another.
Yeah, it might be worth saving these two weapons because their economy is low, but it seems like they're thinking about at least trying to get some exit frags. Alman kind of watching the alt mid fall back and Advent just playing towards CT spawn. And Alman will catch on to Dan King, so it exit there and some extra money farm from the SMG. But nice attack there from TYLOO. Nice 1-for-1 trade in arches. Nice fall back into the A attack. Good clearing of lane side. And very just efficient trading all the way through. So they will take the lead back. And again, CT economy is in a very fragile state. So a chance for TYLOO to extend that lead to 10-8 before ViCi could really say much about it. And so TYLOO keeping themselves out in front despite taking a couple of licks along the way. Again, a lot of it just kind of based on their own weird decision-making at times, but...
Grenade early down mid, maybe anticipating that ViCi would want to try and get a bit of aggression down there. Force in themselves, MP9. They did lose an MP9 right at the end. I think that was in the hands of Alman.
Yes.
So that's a pretty grim loss, honestly. Could have done with that.
Very true. Now all they can really do is try to go for some kind of like gimmicky stacks and boost and just try to see if they can catch TYLOO off guard, which Alman does have a tricky little angle here. Has been spotted now, though, by Slowly. Like how they're able to quickly transition to him being boosted on these flower pots now, though. So that's kind of cool.
Funneling back up on middle. Jam Young, Zoking. Different layers of verticality. Do they try and flash in here? This could be rough. This could be incredibly rough. Zoking goes in for one. They're not anticipating Jam Young, and he takes one down himself. A 2-for-2 trade, though, may not be good enough for ViCi, but it does give them a brief window of opportunity. They still haven't contended with the Kaze, although those bullets whizzing past his head. They know he's in pit, but Summer's now been tagged down to 6. All 3 players exceptionally low on hit points. And one bullet would be their end, but somebody still takes off the head of Alman, who peeks in before Advent's in any position to help him out. I think that may have been the last bullet in the magazine as well. Such a nice shot. And Advent must realize all 3 players are low if that information has been relayed. But that's really half the struggle. Even if they are low, so what?
Yeah, he wants them to die with the bomb, though. Or at least try to. Try to making them rebuy, keep their economy low. He gets a nice kill there on Summer that will give him some extra cash farmed. And again, force a lot of rebuying out of TYLOO and keep their money in check. But it will be 10-8 nonetheless in favor of TYLOO. Definitely, ViCi had some chances there. Their stack over on Art's side was fruitful. And as you can see, there were plenty of Ts that were left vulnerable at the end there that could have been picked up upon. But to no avail. The CT economy is still not really there to try to punish TYLOO. So there's going to be TYLOO with another opportunity to have a huge advantage to extend that lead up to 11-8 before ViCi would be able to have purchasing power. It will just be Advent with this 1 MP9. Not sure if ViCi will invest anything else around that. Seems like the answer is no. Just the 1 smoke grenade being bought by Zoking.
Bit of a lead starting to open up and extend. As you said, 1 SMG in the hands of ViCi. They decide to stack 4 players on A, leaving the aforementioned SMG over on the B side. Stuck behind a smoke, and there's a second one to replenish in as well. So Advent tries to get a bit of aggression and get some intel. Actually finds it, to be fair.
Indeed he does.
Now.
Yeah, he was trying to pick a fight with Slowly there, who just has the MAC-10. But smartly, TYLOO will back off, and they will get such a sick timing. You can see ViCi looking for the gamble rotation through CT spawn. This leaves A weak, and this is where the attack comes in. But Jam Young with the USP keeps this crossfire at top middle, actually gets a frag, and he's still doing damage. Finally cleared out, though, by attacker and Dan King, and so it is the 4-on-3, and A is wide open.
MP9 does yield the frag, but it's just the MAC-10. So they're going to find out and be a bit disappointed. It's not quite the treasure they were hoping for. Alman from the backside doing a bit of damage, but it's negligible because of the USP. It's more of a nuisance to somebody who did have the bomb. So that could have been an awkward position there, but realizes it and goes in to dial in for the post plant with 2 SMGs and a buy on the horizon. Every reason for ViCi to go in here and try and see
two
what
Mac
happens.
10s.
They do indeed have 2 Mac 10s now. Spray from somebody's completely batters everyone on the approach, and well, the round is done in just a brief moment. However, ViCi have a buy, but a couple players could be low on utility.
Yeah, it got interesting there when ViCi picks up the 2 Mac 10s, so now they have 3 SMGs for that 3-on-3 retake, and you're kind of like, maybe outside chance. But here's the problem: ViCi now have to go with 3 FAMAS just to get utility. They still don't have a full buy. And if they lose this, they're back to saving again. They could be in a lot of trouble here, Vince, depending on how this round goes. Oh, I like the idea. I also like the discipline to not keep it for too long.
Yes, very much so.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no.
See you later.
Off the back of everything that you were building with that narrative of how important this round is for ViCi, and they've lost one through the smoke as he tried to get down close on Banana.
Yeah. They got hit with some good utility damage as well prior to that, so soften the target. Zoking goes down. Advent also has been chunked a bit, though Attacker has also received a little bit of damage in his own right, but still TYLOO with the man advantage. And that is so dangerous on Inferno. Can spread that defense, so then force you to gamble. They aren't really playing any forward positions to have much information either, except for Kaze's op, which kind of has, you know, vision on Boiler. But that's it. That's all they've got. Nice shot, though.
Yeah, good shot. Able to fall away back as well. Aumann will be tested momentarily as slowly pushes through the smoke. Gets punished with a flashbang, actually, from Danking. This is a good read, though. TYLOO decides the B side is more vulnerable, and that would be the correct assumption. And Advent only has a FAMAS here. This is actually one of the weakest bits of firepower. In comes the first player. Perfect crosshair placement from Advent, who could be going in for 2. Does get traded out by Dan King, but lands the headshot. Down to 8, he will fall. And now they need somebody to have a heater of a round, because his teammate is going to be, by and large, useless. 1 bullet and he's done, but now somebody gets hammered through the smoke. Off angle with the AK. Crosshair placement on point. Will he get pushed, though? Multiple players come through. 1 frag is all he'll be picking up, but intel also passed across to Dan King, who will be fragged down by Jam Young. And to be fair to Jam Young, we said in that first half, he ended it with like 2 kills. He's really stepped up these last few rounds.
Indeed, he has. Really nicely done there by ViCi on the retake. It was a good read from TYLOO to double back over to B, but their spacing has just been so off. You know, when they go through the smoke like this is just silly. It's slowly by himself. There's no trade potential. And then even this, you're giving Advent 1v1s in the site there. You're not flexing the bulk of your advantage in those situations. You should be swarming these people. And instead, they're giving them favorable 1v1s. So again, TYLOO's decision-making, their worst enemy throughout this series. That's now probably the 3rd or 4th round they've lost that probably really should have been theirs.
Certainly, and even with all of those caveats put down, they still lead by 2 rounds. Goes to show how well they've played for the most part, but there have definitely been some lacks in concentration. Zoking, though, pushing down middle, does have a little bit of help behind him. Spray is good for 2 headshots. Although he's at 17 HP and will be finished off, he's done his job. He's done exactly what ViCi were hoping for.
Yeah, they've slowed down the T progress. They've ensured the man advantage. They own some map control. They forced TYLOO to have to be a bit cautious, clearing some of this out. And so, yeah, indeed, well done. Summer will upgrade to the AK off the Galil, so they'll keep the 3 power weapons in play. They still do have a lot of time left on the clock as well. And there's still a chance that they could find a favorable situation depending on what site they choose to hit. As it seems like ViCi are playing a bit more for the B retake right now to keep that A defense in place. So there is a chance to get in here, maybe isolate Advent, and get this bomb down on B site. But as I say that, Aumann has been able to get into a better position to try to assist him or set up the retake.
Advent does have a flash out right now. He's peeking around that corner. They pre-fire the boost position. No one is there. Flash is good, stalls the push. Advent now on the periphery of the smoke, punishes Summer, and is able to scamper away. This is where they can play for more of a retake. Somebody goes in for that plant. Will be fully planting. Dankill felt like he had to go in for that push, had to go in and try and alleviate the pressure, and in doing so gave his life away. And it's another successful retake. And this time, 4-play surviving means they can pick up a ton of weapons and really upgrade this buy.
Oh, absolutely. They're going to get double op now. They're going to have the AK and the M4 coming over. Meanwhile, T-Side economy is in tatters, even with the bomb plant in the lost bonus building. It's a tough ask for them to purchase. They probably go Tech 9s at best coming into this round, so very likely ViCi will tie this thing up before TYLOO can get a full buy-in. And so that is quite the recovery for ViCi. Of course, we had a very close half, 8-7. Easily could have been TYLOO 10-5, though. Had a couple of blunders on some over pushing on the CT side. And so now ViCi cashing in on some of those errors, forcing again a low buy out of TYLOO here. Just deagles the one Galil on attacker.
This game getting extended further. Great news for ViCi. Really making TYLOO work for this. A lot of people expected at this Grand Finals may very well go the distance. That flick from Aumann is solid. Straight into the chest of attacker. And that was their rifle. That was their main bit of firepower that goes with him. They can smoke down on that as well. Good headshot onto Aumann. Well, they'll make him think twice about re-peeking. And it allows him to pick up the Galil. Danking in the meanwhile, though, tries his luck down middle. And he gets pushed away. So ViCi looking good to actually tie us up.
Yeah, it does seem like that is very much what's going to be on the horizon here. They are setting up for one last push on B on the TYLOO side of things. A couple of deagles and a Galil to back it up. It looks like they have a smoke for CT spawn. Pop flash here for Summer to maybe help the entry in. There is no one actually on site, however. ViCi playing smart, playing the coffins in CT spawn. Zoking now coming into the site, but gets a safe angle. Does get traded. Advent trying to stop a bomb plant here with that spray. Now smoke fades at spawn. Easy pickings for Aumann's op. Just somebody now.
Surprised he was even allowed the initial cross, but Kaze, the secondary open position from CT, made sure he's providing the overwatch. It will be a buy coming in, but it will be without an AWP unless somebody goes for the glass cannon. Unlikely. Nice start to the round by Aumann, and they did tie us up 11 apiece, and it feels to me like maybe ViCi starting to get a bit of an advantage for themselves as well, Dust. Like these last few rounds, they've looked sharp.
They do look sharp. Now, Jamyoung's recovery has been noted already. Everyone else also starting to find a little bit of a rhythm as well. These ops have been coming through for ViCi. They seem to just be the better decision makers on average throughout a lot of these mid-round situations as well. But TYLOO are going to be back onto the buy here with AK's armor and utility, so a chance to put their best foot forward on the attacking side. Again, TYLOO is a team that have the better recent reps on the map of Inferno. And the T side has typically been their better side. They come into this in the last 6 months with only a 49% win rate on the CT side, but near 60% on T side. So we'll see if they can kind of flex that statistic in this upcoming round.
A distinctly slower pace compared to ViCi's T side. They are certainly happier to slow things down and just execute later on. A lot of fake throws as well. The smokes and a full execution line that comes in.
Yeah, no banana control being contested this time from TYLOO. They're gathering all their forces to try to really dictate the pace at top middle. They smoke off that arch side, baiting out some CT utility. Now flash their way in. They control brackets. Gives them a launching pad to go into sight, though there is a stout double pit defense in place, and we know how hard that can be to break. It requires good utility or just good thoughtfulness. And TYLOO don't really have the utility to clear it out. They don't have any Molotovs. So they have to just be very careful.
Kaze does connect the frag, takes a headshot for his troubles, but he can stay alive in library now. Although that gap is being closed, this is really where the double pit defense is going to get tried and tested. Zoking and Jamyoung down here. Kaze is waiting for the smoke to clear. Flashbang does connect, but there's no follow-up damage. Jamyoung can stay in position for as long as he wants, and that's a freebie. The frag drops down the bomb. They may not anticipate a secondary player here either. They need to clear this one out. They've now found out firsthand that Zoking is still lurking in the pit, but he's been bested by Dank. King, and now the bomb will be getting planted down. It didn't look possible, but a 2v2 retake on the cards.
Indeed, there's a chance here. Dan King being such a great player, getting 3 kills already. A chance for the ace, perhaps. Attacker gonna get one as well, and this might be it.
Advent has a flash. That's pretty much everything at his disposal. Needs to put it in. Good headshot onto Dan King, who looked for information, but the damage was inflicted, and there was a chance. He did tag Attacker down to 20. But TYLOO hold on for dear life. It's at great cost, though, to their finances.
Yes. Yeah, they can't really replenish, man. They're going to have to go for maybe some Galeals here just to be able to make sure everyone gets rifles. Meanwhile, the CT economy still very healthy, very easy for them to get a full buy into this next round. And yeah, there you see it. Somebody has to go for a Galil. Summer might be in a similar position to make sure he can get head armor. And even, yeah, there you have it. 2 Galils in play. Limited utility on a couple of their players. But all in all, still not too shabby of a buy. But they need this win. Both teams do. Both economies in a fragile state here, Vince.
Has been a roller coaster of a game financially, in terms of decision making, big moments, as you'd expect from a grand finals. This has delivered thus far. 4-player stack on the A side, though, for ViCi.
Yep. It's worth noting that ViCi did have to go on a FAMAS and an MP9 in their own right, so they're also suffering for some weaponry, but they have such a brilliant A stack here at the top of middle. This is going to be so hard for TYLOO to break if they go for this. Could be their demise. That smoke may slow them down. They have no banana control, though, Vince, so, I mean, time is ticking. They don't really have any map control, but the A stack is now broken. Oh,
yeah,
Jam Young.
This rotation's allowed and taking shape because of Jam Young's aggression. And he's getting around the back of them. This could be multiple frags. He's got the MP9 out. That's information. Now they're trading off one of those plays. The first frag down could be more. Oh, the MP9 is going to let him down, but he can stay alive a little bit longer. He's wasting so much time and effort. Finally will be fragged. But 30 seconds and a rotation from ViCi. But TYLOO are making the perfect read. They're deciding to still hit B.
Indeed, they are, and Summer could cut off rotations if he peeks out of balcony at the right time. It's only Alman here defending. He tries to put up a smoke to slow them down. He does get the bomb down. Trying to get more, but he can't. They will get into sight. They will plant also. Summer was good for 1 kill, but did get picked up, but it does slow down the CT rotation a bit. But they still have an advantage. Yeah, and an advantage. Spotted.
Nice. Flashbang through. Attacker now, though, does get flashed fully. And here comes somebody. Has only a few bullets left, but puts them to heads. And King will fall for the 2nd consecutive round. TYLOO clutch with 1 player alive.
Yeah, now they force ViCi into a tough place where their money is just not quite there. Maybe you can get some upgraded pistols, but you have to make sure you get the full buy to stop TYLOO from getting map point. We talked about this in the pre-show events. This was kind of a must-win lap in our eyes for ViCi. They're already down 1-0 in the series due to the default map coming from the lower bracket. You got Vertigo and Ancient around the corner eventually, both maps that TYLOO are favored to win. And so if you give TYLOO 2-0 this early in the series, Mirage is still a very comfortable map from TYLOO, by the way. It was their pick after all. And then you got Vertigo and Ancient up next. I mean, I don't see a world in which TYLOO loses his best of 5 already up 2-0 with those 3 maps around the corner. They're going to get one of those 3, man, surely.
It's kind of one of the points that we were raising in the pre-game segment, that it felt Inferno, in many aspects, was the most important map. If ViCi can take it, it puts it at equality. There's every chance they can turn that corner. But if they go behind, there's such a vast deficit. It's always feeling like that uphill climb may be insurmountable. And this round looks insurmountable as well.
You almost never see a reverse sweep in a best of 5 in CS. There may have been like 1 or 2 in the entire history of the game.
Certainly very rare occurrence. Now, Deagles and P250s doesn't really afford ViCi that many options. They're going to be boosting up behind the broken wall, or half wall, I should say. Not really finding anything here. ViCi, in the meanwhile, don't get aggressive into apps. Decide to just back away and hope that these pistols somehow salvage this situation.
Yeah, they're just going to try to double face and rely on these kind of boosted positions. And that's a nice headshot there from Jam Young. He's trying to get away. TYLOO not really pressing the issue, kind of allowing him to fade back. And so it's early advantage for ViCi Gaming. Yes, Jamyoung took some damage, but well worth it for that frag. And to slow TYLOO down, now they're going to go for the boost on flower pots, making it even harder for TYLOO to break open this B site. And what a fumble this would be for TYLOO if they don't come up with this conversion. And with the defense that's in place, it's going to be pretty hard to break in there. There's already 3 on site and a 4th right there in CT spawn.
I'm just somewhat amazed that they're still pushing on this side. They know there's at least 2 players here. It has to stand to reason that there would be a stack coming in. It looks like they may very well bypass this, though. They know a second player is at the second oranges. Kaze with a P250 trying to perforate the smoke and pierce in for a couple more frags, but won't be forthcoming. They're at least making this a close one, though. And now Alman is traded up to the Galil, pushing up the banana side. There is still a way forward in this round, considering that somebody and Slowly combined don't even have 100 HP between the two of them. So Alman could maybe rummage a masterful play. One of the remaining 3 players in Shadow, and that will be Slowly, who removes the head. Kaze is making this a little bit more costly. He's putting a couple more bullets down range for frags, but TYLOO will hit 14 first.
Yeah, Vince, I think the critical moment of that round that saved TYLOO was how quickly they killed that boosted player on flower pots. They read it immediately. They pre-spanned it. They got that frag so fast. And that put those 2 site players in a lot more danger. They had no support to establish a crossfire. They only had pistols on the site. That smoke was isolating any assistance. And so that's kind of what salvaged things for TYLOO despite the early casualty, the Jamyoung's Deagle. But now we're back to a full buy for both teams. And so this is a must-win round for ViCi. If they lose this, their money is in complete disarray. Again, they're force buying the final round of regulation, most likely. And it's probably a waltz to the finish line for TYLOO, 16-11 if they can convert this round.
The weight of this map is very much on the shoulders of ViCi right now. They know the importance of getting the job done here. Limping in, really, with a... It's an alright buy, but it's certainly not what you'd be looking for at this stage with no armor on Kaze. No nades on 2 players as well already with a minute left on the clock, like especially on a map like Inferno. One of the reasons that we were touching on the whole dropping utility situation is because there's so many bottlenecks on this map.
They're kind of relying on gimmicks, right? They're relying on this double man A stack on site. They're relying on this boost by Alman at the back of B on top new box. You know, that's kind of what they have to do because of that lack of utility that you're talking about, is try to just play these tricky spots. That's going to make it harder for TYLOO to clear. Kaze with the op at library. This time he is smoked off. So that's a good job from TYLOO. In the past, they had just kind of dry peeked it, and Kaze was able to get a freebie, but not this time. They're able to get this map control, set up this route. They're going to molly out library as well, perhaps. It's even going to forward their put Kaze in a tough spot.
Time, though. Signs of time running dry here for TYLOO, and Jamyoung gets 1, could be more. Summer gets spammed down, but even though a couple of casualties now come in for the CTs, and sure, the post plant should come into play, judging from the CT's positioning now, the retake is very much a possibility. This is where the lack of kit, though, really will start to sting ViCi. They're going to have to get a move on, and they only have a flash and a smoke to play with.
Oh, and they lose a player very early there thanks to attacker's angle. Kaze, though, gets a nice shot, putting attacker in a tough 1v2, but he's picking out the 1v1s perfectly, Vince.
And now Alman has to try and push onto the site. Flashbang up and over, won't be affecting attacker. He's got the right position. He's got the right spot. The AK in his hands and finally hits the head. It was labored, but he got the job done. And in doing so, 4 rounds now that TYLOO have a chance to get this map over with.
And there's just no money for ViCi. Obviously, they'll buy what they can, Vince. But, I mean, there's going to be several players here that are probably going to be on a pistol or maybe an SMG to ensure that they can get armor and utility in play. And, obviously, utility will likely just be limited overall yet again. So, TYLOO's going to have such a big edge coming into this. What a brilliant round from attacker. Such a tough 1v2 he got put in, but he capitalizes. And, yeah, you can see it. 3 FAMAS, 2 MP9s, and limited utility.
I say get this map over with because I think that's TYLOO's mentality at this stage. They know that they had so many advantages, so many odd decisions early on in the half, in the map. This could have been done already, if we're being completely honest, had they played this one more efficiently.
They should have been up 10-5 coming in the second half rather than 8-7, in my opinion. So, yeah, this probably could have been over already. But they've settled down. They've found their groove here on the T side. 4 chances to win this thing in regulation. Interesting little boost configuration from ViCi at the top of Banana, and TYLOO don't want any of that, Vince. They're like, nah, we'll be getting the heck out of here. They're going to be able to control top middle here soon. It's being given for free. City's playing a bit more passive. If they attack A quickly enough, they're going to have a huge edge. There's no one rotating it. There's still 3 on B. They're just now getting a CT spawn.
Yeah, there's only an MP9 as well on the site itself. Now, Jamyoung needs to go above and beyond with this FAMAS, but it's one and done. Kaze has been allowed a bit more space, but there it is. The tsunami of T's just crash along the coast of the A site. Nothing in its wake. Dan King now staying alive a little bit longer. Does fall down, but a lot of damage inflicted to Advent. An AK should prevail, especially as Advent on 19 HP is finished off. And TYLOO do